Hi, I'm Ryker V, and for my project, I am doing the phone-controlled marble tilt maze, which is basically a one of those mazes that tilts on two axes with two dials. But instead of doing it manually, you use the gyroscope from a phone, and it basically um, servo motors like mimic the phone's current position. So for this project, what I started with this week was basically just understanding the circuit board and the motors. Because I don't have much experience with Arduinos or breadboards or any of that, so I started by learning a lot about that and about the servo motors. So one of the first things I tried to tackle was like just hooking up a servo motor and seeing how it worked. So I used some of the example programs, and then I got a servo motor working, and that was good. And then I tried to use a potentiometer, um, which is basically a little knob that turns. And the more you turn it, I made it so that the more the servo motor turns, and that's also example code. So where I sort of tried to make something of my own was I added another potentiometer, which is a knob, and I added another servo motor, and I wanted to see if I could get in the same circuit um, one of the each of them to both control one servo motor. And so I basically mimicked the code, but then fixed all the variables, and I had to change a lot of the wiring because it would have interfered with each other. And I also hooked up the battery pack because I didn't want it to fry the Arduino. So yeah, that was basically the first thing I did with my servo motors, and that was a great way to understand and sort of unpack the complexity of something that you've never seen before, like an Arduino or um, all sorts of wiring. And then the next thing I did was work on the actual design of my project. So I figured out how the tilt maze actually works. Basically, it's like a box and then a ring around it, and it has two axles going through. And so that was also fun to try to figure out. And then I started constructing one out of Lego. That was sort of my favorite part of this week. I got to mess around with Legos and build basically the entire basis of my project, which is the maze itself. Yeah, so that's what I did this week. I'm really happy with the progress I made. I think I got one milestone for sure, and I'm almost halfway through my next milestone. So I'm really excited to keep working on my project.